If you ever wondered why two people can grow the exact same clone and end up with totally different results, you're gonna wanna stay tuned, because today we are breaking down what is really happening on top of the genetics and how you can start controlling how they're expressed. Come on, let's get into it. But before we do, this video is brought to you by Real Grow Lab. And if you want a place to post your grow without a bunch of censorship, please go check out Real Grow Lab. There's no bans, there's no censorship. It's just growers sharing good stuff. You can post your pics, you can get great advice from the other real growers out there. Come on, go check it out, realgrowlab.com. You sign up for free, and come on, post your first nug. Let's see them. Come on, Hi-C, let's get into it.
Okay, I saw examples of this at the last DGC Cup.
Yep.
Where two people had cuts of the same plant, looked totally different, came from the same mother.
Yeah, I've seen them turn different colors. I've seen some of them be purple and some of them be, the same exact cut. What I'm really thinking about is I had G13 back in the day, that what everybody was using, and according to their grow systems, their grow styles, how good of a grower they were, they came out differently. And now that doesn't shock anybody, right?
A little bit, but I'm thinking of like identical twins.
Sure.
A lot of times they look identical, but you get the same DNA from a mother plant and wildly different plants come out sometimes.
Yeah, and what we're talking about now is genotype, just a fancy word of saying the genes that you're working with, whether it's what comes up from a seed or when you have a clone. You know that everybody is getting the exact same genotype. These are your exact same genetics, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. Identical twins are exact same genetics. Now put one in Phoenix and one in, was it Nome, Alaska? Yeah, okay, well, that's pretty far up, right? One in Alaska and one in Phoenix, okay? They're going to get different exposure amounts of sunlight. One's going to really have to worry about skin cancer and putting on a bunch of sunscreen or whatever. While in Alaska, you're going to have to worry about taking vitamin D pills and getting enough sun, right?
Or getting frostbite and losing a toe.
Yeah, so you're going to have to set up a different environment. Probably going to have to eat different. Don't people in Alaska eat like a bunch of fat because they need it because they're burning calories all the time?
Well, eating is probably a good example.
Sure.
You got two twins. One of them eats healthy food.
Yeah.
One of them eats junk food. Even if they're identical twins, they are going to end up with different body types.
Think about stress. Think about what stress will do. I might have a little bit less hair on my head if I'm stressed out than if I'm chilling in Alaska chopping wood. If I'm chopping wood in Alaska, I might be a little burlier, right?
True. Okay. So let's talk about, I can get it on like the identical twins level.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you can use this knowledge to be a better grower.
Deal. All right, so let's go over to plants. We already know genetics is what you're starting with. That is the code, right? Mm-hmm. Man, I think about the analogy of a newspaper. The newspaper has all the genetics, has all the information on there, except if you're like me and you remember back in the day, you'd get it rolled up with a rubber band and thrown on your front door.
You can only see the above fold headline, and that might be all I'm working with.
Yeah, the littlest amount of information. Newspaper has, 50 pages front and back to it. When it's rolled up with a rubber band, you can only read a small amount of information. So your genotype is the newspaper. Now, how do you read it? How do those genes get read and then expressed? So that is epigenetics. Epidermis on top of your dermis, epigenetics on top of your genetics. This is all the things that the expressions that happen, and it really has to do with all these environmental cues. And what we're going to do is that the more comfortable the environment or the different environments are going to allow different pages of that newspaper to be open, expressed, maybe folded up partly. What different growers do is they express those genetics in different ways. And they might be just reading the sports section. They might just be reading the classifieds.
I love this because I get the newspaper.
Sure.
It has all the potential. I can read the business section,
Yep.
and the newspaper becomes a great piece of financial advice. Or I can just skip to the comics and it becomes a great source of entertainment. I get to choose what the newspaper is.
Yes, the business section is yield, right? Need my yields, man. Yield report.
Okay, you also brought up the analogy of a mixing board.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best analogy that I can come up with. The newspaper's pretty good, all right? But when you've got all that information, now say your genetics, your genome is the song. That's the basic song that you're getting. And now you've got to clean it up, or not even, you might want to clean it up, or you might want to totally change it. I'm thinking back to Chemical Brothers. That's the last techno I know of, okay?
Okay.
But remember, they would take a song and it would sound completely different when they were done. They could stretch it out. They could slow the beats, or they could speed them up. They could do all this stuff. And that's the analogy I come up with for growing.
So you can increase or decrease the tempo. You can bump up the bass. You can turn up the treble.
Sure, I'm trying to think. Increase I don't know if all these make sense. You can increase and decrease the CO2, right? That's big time. You can change the amount of food they're getting or the type of food that they're getting. You can change the amount of sunlight or the spectrum. All those are dials that we get to play with.
So I'm thinking of like a 90-day strain, but by playing with different switches, you can turn it into an 87-day strain, or you can stretch it out to a 93-day strain.
Yeah, exactly, man. We're talking about we want more frost. Maybe we turn the temperature down a little bit more. We want stretchier plants, bigger plants with more buds or more spread out buds. Maybe we turn that nighttime temperature up a little bit more or down a little bit more. Play with our differential. The amount of food, the type of food they get, the amount of water, the frequency of water, all that is going to express itself in different ways.
So would this technically qualify as crop steering?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Anytime that you're in your grow, when I'm just driving down the road not thinking about it, technically I'm steering, right? Mm-hmm. But if I want to do something deliberate, yeah, this is crop steering. So I say, hey, look, I know if I turn my temperatures down at the end, I'm going to get more frost. I know if I turn the lights up with a ton of intensity, I'm going to get bigger buds. The temperature differential, like I said, all these are knobs on the mixing board. Yeah, but I keep on going back to the main point and the mixer analogy. You've got all these variables. We get to play Mother Nature in the grow. It's so much different than being outside where we have a windstorm today outside. There's not much we can do about it. But indoors, if I want to make thicker stalks, maybe I give them silica and I blow the fan on them a bunch. I change the environment, I change the food, and I change the expression of these genetics. I'm not changing the genes, but I am changing what I do to express those genes, what section of the newspaper I open and read and tell everybody about. Hey, so I hope I made sense of why you can get two of the exact same plant, the exact same genetics, and get totally different results between them, depending on grower or grow situation or environment. What about you? Have you ever run the same clone as one of your buddies and got totally different results? And if so, what variables do you think made the most difference in your grow? Come on, drop it in the comments. I would love to hear what you're seeing in your garden. And come on, if you dug this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Come on, share this one with another grower you know. And come on, check out the other couple of videos YouTube's recommended. We think you'll dig them.